I have a big forehead. I understand. So I got bangs, but I don't like wearing them out all the time. It's not that I hated social media or I hated the people on social media. I hated the person I was conditioning myself to be while constantly just wanting to be on my phone. There is really no official end date. Like no social media sobriety countdown. No sticker that I would wear to special occasions. It was barely even a topic of conversation. But if the topic came up, I would just simply say, I'm actually not on social media right now. And it was surprisingly that easy. And it was freeing. It wasn't a dramatic Black Mirror dinner scene where everyone would get shocked and throw in their personal opinions. Not the one person who chose not to implant a memory recording device in their neck. Like, what even is the norm nowadays? No one really asked any questions. I didn't feel very judged either. But I did feel a sense of disconnection. Quitting social media gave me grounding. I am currently sitting on the floor, and I just want to let you know, if you are here for any advice on how to get over phone addiction or any advice on how to stay away from social media, this is not the video for you, okay? This video is just my experience after quitting social media, and if you are interested in that, then go ahead and stick around. If not, I post every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I just post from travel vlogs, get ready with me's, lifestyle, all that shebang. One day, I was on social media, venting my raw emotions. I was just kind of using it to distract myself from what I was really going through, not even realizing it. Like, it was so unintentional, it wasn't healthy, it was just... It's so normalized nowadays, it's so scary. You do get a lot of validation from social media, I will say that. It gives you like that sense of, oh my gosh, like yay, people care about me, it's great. But when you turn your phone off or when you delete your apps, that's when reality hits. Because how many people are still checking on you? How many people actually want to know what's going on in your life because they care or because they worry about you, because they actually love you as a human being? Once I realized that the presence of social media kind of made me almost delusional to the sense of who's really present in my life, who actually has my best interest and who actually cares about my well-being. You can't really see that stuff online, can you? I mean, you can do a poll, do a quick little survey, but like, just imagine like, who cares about me, yes or no? I was just on Instagram one day and I was getting ready to vent basically very raw emotions about a certain situation that happened to me that I wish it didn't happen to me, but it is what it is and life goes on. But I realized that I was literally about to just tell a stranger. I was literally about to tell them my whole business, not even thinking about the repercussions if there were any, but it was just me realizing how comfortable I was to be so vulnerable to people I barely knew. And that's scary, because then I had to ask myself, would I do this in real life? Would I be this forward and this honest and this open with someone who I barely know in real life if they came to me today? And if the answer was yes, then I had to ask myself, okay, is that healthy? Is that healthy for you to just spill out your emotions to people that you don't even take the time to analyze their intentions, their motives, or if they actually care about you? And if you don't care if they care about you, then that's another reason to just check your self-love. I realized with the amount of time I was literally on my phone, dopamines or some endorphins, just things to just stimulate what I was missing out on real life. I was using my phone for that. I was using it for entertainment. I was using it for social time. I was using it so that I could keep up with people that I barely talk to, because that is just the norm nowadays. It's like if your friend posts something on social media and they don't tell you about it, you still know about it and you can still text them or call them and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you, or comment or whatever. There is just a very limiting amount of human interaction nowadays with the presence of social media, I feel, at least in my life, because it's like once I turned off my phone and I deleted my apps, I was just like, I don't even interact with these people on a daily basis. They're not my work. They're not paying me. They're not blood related to me. And unfortunately, I realized that social media was giving me a false sense of reality. You can scroll for hours and time just passes you by. And in that same amount of time, you could be playing an instrument, you could be meditating, you could be hiking a beautiful mountain, you could be deepening your connection with your friends, you could be doing anything else. But yet, when you are conditioned to social media as your social life, or social media as where you find your happiness from, where you escape from after a long day, life is just passing by. You're not really living if you're just living through other people, or if you're just looking through their lens all the time. I didn't have a good balance. Like, I think the only good balance that I had was knowing in real life when to take my camera out and when to not take it out, because there are certain moments that the best part is just experiencing them. So like going to concerts, skydiving, jet skiing, swimming in a different country, like those are the moments where you're just like, you know what? I am not going to spend my time worrying about the angles that I may be catching, or how good I look, or how bad I look, or stressing over just the small things that social media, I realized, brought me. It brought me a lot of insecurities, and it made me lose a sense of myself, because I was constantly looking through basically my life as a virtual reality, and it wasn't even real. Like, I was only posting my happy moments, and I realized it looked like I was just constantly happy all the time. And I think that's what I actually convinced in my mind. So like, it was essentially like a coping mechanism. And I don't think that's healthy. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just like, if you have to resort to a false reality to make yourself feel better, then is that healthy for you? And if you're not one of those people who use social media like that, then I'm gonna give you some snaps now, because I felt like, for me, that's what it was for me. It was like I was just resorting to it because I was way more in love with the online version of myself than the person that I saw in the mirror every day. And that makes me really sad to think about that. And so I had to step back, and I had to just find myself again. Find myself without algorithms pushing interest to me, but me finding my own interests and passions on my own. Find myself by literally building my own values. It's like I was hearing opinions before I even heard facts. And I think that alone already can skew your perception of things. And it made me really sad, because I would remember days when I was a kid, which, backstory, I was just a super sheltered kid. So I was always excited to experience life. I was always excited to just be a free bird. No one can tell you what to do because you're unsupervised. You can make your own decisions because it's your life. And then I sat down and I was like, why am I wasting my life on my phone? Hours are literally going by. It really aided in my sense of impulse, I feel like, as well. I feel like with social media, I wasn't very present in real life, and I wasn't very patient. Like, I didn't get to practice my deep sense of focus. I didn't get to practice how to read a room. I didn't get to practice like real actual social skills, because I didn't care if I was getting majority of my social time on social media. So while I'm turning to my phone to escape or to stimulate a sense of living, I realized I wasn't really living. I was just existing. And that makes me sad, because I used to literally pray to be an adult. I used to pray to make it to that day where I can make these decisions for myself. And what I was deciding was basically just to waste it on my phone. When you look in the past, you're not in the present. And that's all I was posting. I was posting things that had already passed, things I already lived for. And it would suck so much, because I would realize, oh my goodness, you don't even care if you had a good time, as long as you got a good picture. And I hated that about myself. I hated the fact that that's how superficial, or that's how shallow I started being. It was just like, if I got in an argument that day, if I cried all morning getting ready, if it was super stressful, as long as I got a good picture, then it was a good time. And I feel like that's what my mind was starting to get conditioned to. I need to step back, because this cannot be healthy for me. There's only so much you can do on your phone, even though there's so many things that you can, but there's just this sense of humanity that I feel like you will never gain unless you put your phone down and you realize how to just soak in a moment. Just soak it in. Don't even take your phone out. And then that is when I started realizing, oh my goodness, my phone was just this huge distraction and this huge thing that I feel like is just so normalized now, where everyone is just just doing their own thing, and then we post it, and then everyone else is watching, then we add our little opinions on it, and then we move on to the next thing. That's really all social media is. If you want to limit it down to that, it's like just a place to get entertained or distracted for a while, and then you move on to your next day. I felt like there was just an unnecessary amount of time that I was spending on social media. I'm assuming that there are people that don't have the same relationship with social media as I do, but this is just, again, my experience, and this is something where in 5 years from now, I'm gonna look at this video and be like, wow, let's see how my relationship has changed with social media, or let's see how this really impacted me, or let's see if I fell back and I'm in the same place that I am today. I realized with social media, it was kind of taking away my true identity, meaning like I didn't really know myself anymore, and I wanted to get to know myself again, and I wanted to be able to make my own decisions, not necessarily because I wasn't before, but because I was just so heavily influenced by other people's opinions on what I would do next, which is so ironic because this is just gonna go to a whole bunch of strangers that I've never met before as well, and so I feel like it's almost hypocritical. But the difference is that I'm healed now, and I know what I'm willing to share to other people now, and I feel like I gained that sense after I turned my phone off, after I got off all my social media apps, after I stopped conditioning myself into thinking that yes, it is absolutely normal for everyone to just burst their opinion behind a screen, get a sense of confidence when they are on a keyboard or when they're just not having to be confronted face to face. And I felt like I started to lose that while I was on social media all the time. There's a fly. I felt like I started to lose that confidence within myself to even obtain a conversation, a normal conversation. Not, hey, did you see that one video? Or, hey, did you hear about that? Like, I felt like I didn't even know how to socialize in real life anymore because I was just socializing online, and it was a sense of fulfillment for me. I was getting addicted to a happy version of myself that could only be found online. No matter how real I would try to be or how straightforward I would try to be, no matter what, like this video is not present time. This video is posted in the past by the time you watch this. This video isn't even technically reality. Breaking my social media addiction rippled into other habits in my life. I feel like I stopped listening to things that didn't seem like it was making me a better person or it wasn't educating me. Turning on podcasts and interviews that normally other people would be like, oh my God, I hate this person, how they speak. But I would listen to them just to hear another person's perception. And if it was opposing, at least I educated myself on the other side. I know both sides, and I can pick for myself as to why I support this or why I do not support it. So essentially it was, I was gaining more knowledge and using my freedom to grow, to evolve, to educate myself. Because if you don't stand for something, the truth is that you'll fall for anything. And don't take that and think that I made that up, because I read that super long ago when I was like in middle school, I feel like, and it's always stuck with me. By getting off social media, it also helped me get rid of certain people that I realized wasn't a light in my life, and that there's a difference between being a good friend and just being someone who's always present. And that also helped me realize that as well. I stopped talking to people who I realized couldn't really embrace the same vision that I had for myself. Not because I think they're a terrible person, but because I felt like that's negativity that I don't need in my life. Honestly, choosing to find peace within myself and choosing myself and choosing to take the time that I need to heal and to grow, soak into who I truly am in the life that I created for myself, rather than just constantly seeking to see other people's. Maybe it did get to my head. Maybe I did get an ego from social media. Maybe it was one of those things where I was more in love with myself online because I felt like that was a better version of myself. And that's not what I can say today. What I can say today is I prefer my real self over my social media self, because the last video I posted, I was looking dusty and musty. Okay, I was getting my eyebrows done, and I just was like, let me just go in a hat with no makeup on and some sweats, because that's real. But yeah, I think that one day I will be back on social media, just not today. And I'm gonna take every single lesson that I possibly can, write it down, journal it, make sure that I am being true to myself, being honest with myself. And that way, when I look back at this video, I can be proud. I could, use this video as a message to my future self to, hey, look, it happens. Like, you lose yourself at times, you lose a sense of reality at times, you forget how important it is to keep things for yourself. But the good thing is that I also showed myself that I can overcome a phone addiction and I can overcome social media addiction. So if that's something that you're struggling with and that's something that you want for yourself, I think that is so beautiful that you've already acknowledged it, and that's probably why you're here at this video, is because you're possibly thinking about it or you're already on your journey. And it's been 6 months plus since I've been on social media, and I do think that it has benefited me in ways that I could explain it, but it's just my experience. You know what I mean? I feel like it's one of those things where I kind of already covered the surface. But yeah, it's just falling in love with yourself all over again and not caring about what people think and just doing your own thing because it's your life. And I feel like with social media, it aided in me being comparative, or me being maybe envious in some certain occasions, or me basically just losing focus in what I want in life because I was just so busy looking at other people's lives, or even being inspired by other people. Like, that's a whole different story, but that's for another video. I feel like that is going to be my year update, because this is not, you know, the first time like this. Like, I'm not gonna go on social media tomorrow just because, you know what I mean, like, this video is done, cool. No, like, this is an actual like lifestyle change for me. I don't crave going on social media as much. It just, I feel like the only negative thing that I found is that there's only so much I can keep up with. So I do feel like this disconnect from other people when they're like, oh, I shared it online, you didn't see it. I'm like, oh, I'm off social media. But it's not one of those things where I feel weird or I feel judged for it. It's just one of those things where it kind of gives an opportunity to have a deep conversation with a friend and actually catch up. So it's not necessarily a con, it's kind of a pro, because it's like, hey, look, let's just have a human to human interaction and let's talk about the things that have changed. Let's talk about how we've evolved or grown, or the things that have happened, you know. And I feel like with leaving social media, it really helped me deepen my sense of self and made me kind of remind myself what life is really about. And it's just not for living for other people, and it's sure as hell not wondering what anyone else is doing if you can't even clean your own porch. You know what I mean? I just hope that my yearly update is gonna be just as positive. Well, I don't even know. Was this even positive? I don't know. But I hope I learn more about my hiatus 6 months from now, because that will be an update, because I know that I promised myself I would at least stay off for a whole year to see what happens in my life and how it changes things. And I kind of prefer life without it, if you want me to be honest with you. And I know I'm on YouTube right now, but that's like so different. It's like, it is an online platform, but I'm not on Twitter right now. I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Instagram. I don't even have a Be Real. I don't have a Snapchat. Like, there's just so many things where I feel like YouTube doesn't count. Correct me if I'm wrong, my bad. Maybe it might sound a little hypocritical, but I don't like scroll on YouTube. The only time I ever go on YouTube is if I'm like listening to a podcast or something, or if I need to figure out something, how to take apart a device that I just got. Like, it's just certain things like that, those instructional videos where I'm just like, okay, I actually need to learn something right now. But yeah, besides that, I mean, I'm not here for news. I feel like I'm super behind on pop culture for sure, but I do love listening to music. Like, I just listened to Post Malone's new album. Love it. I feel like I was like the last person to hear about it because I found it on Apple Music, and I know like a lot of people don't even use Apple Music. I'm not even gonna go there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stick around, and I hope you at least stick around for my yearly update, because I'll probably have another video like this. But if not, I don't think this is like a super exciting like new thing. I just wanted to document my journey, and I hope this in some way inspired you to just be your own person and just do your own thing. Don't give a fuck about what other people are thinking of you. And I feel like getting off social media really helped me grasp that. And yeah, I just wish you the best, and I am very grateful that you clicked in and watched, because I only have like 10 people who watch my videos, so thank you. Okay, and if you want to see more, then just let me know. If you made it this far, go ahead and give my video like a thumbs up, because not that many people can say that they did that. And yeah, so just thank you. Bye.